Hi everybody, and welcome to this Grace Note. Today I want to talk to you about living in hesitation. So for those of you that have been procrastinating or delaying, or just find yourself wanting to do things but not actually acting on them, I hope this video, this Grace Note, will be helpful. So I really recently saw something new about hesitation and delay, and that's kind of where I wanted to speak from today. And as I share my experience, perhaps you'll hear something, perhaps it will open up an insight or an idea in you. But most of all, I just want you to sit back and listen. You know, our intellect often shows up whenever we're trying to figure something out or learn something. And that's not what this video is about. It's not about you learning something new, okay? It's about seeing something new. And so what I saw was that for a period of time, I had really had desires and I hadn't been acting on them. And I noticed, just very innocently, I didn't get into judgment about it too much. I didn't get into seriousness. I just noticed that I was procrastinating, hesitating, delaying. And when I looked at why, my mind got into all sorts of reasons. You know, like why, and I think this is very innocent in humans. You know, we look for why we're doing something. Traditional coaching, traditional psychology, traditional therapy, it all points to looking at why we do things. And so we can get really caught up in our behavior. And that was what was happening to me. I started looking at why. Well, why am I delaying this? And why am I hesitating on that? And honestly, I could have come up with hundreds of reasons. My top one being because I didn't want people to disapprove of me. And what came to me recently was just noticing again more deeply that any behavior, and particularly my behavior around delay, hesitating, is informed first by thought. And I saw really deeply that living in hesitation was really another form of falling for insecure thought. And the insight that came to me later was that insecurity breeds hesitation and delay. I really saw that this behavior I was playing out in my world was symptomatic of me falling for insecure thoughts. And it was so sneaky because I didn't see it crop up like that. Like I was convinced it was something else. And that's the beauty of really not focusing on why you're doing what you're doing, you know, not focusing on figuring out your habits and your behavior, but rather being curious. You know, I was in a place of curiosity about my hesitating. And I really want you to hear that, because I think that for a lot of us, we get into beating ourselves up for not doing what we say we want to do, for taking too long to pull something off, for delaying whatever it is we had an idea about a year ago. And all of that beating up on self, all of that looking at why, it just adds a whole new layer of noise. There's no wisdom to be found there. And so in my own example, as I moved away from questioning why I was behaving the way I was behaving, there was room for wisdom to emerge to shine a light on the innocence of this habit called living in hesitation. And maybe there's an area of your life where you're hesitating. Maybe you find yourself 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I really hope this message speaks to you in a clear, compassionate way. You know, for me, like I said, that hesitating was just symptomatic, just the result of getting lost in insecure thought. It didn't have the meaning that I was giving it. It had nothing to do with what I thought it had to do with. And there's something about being compassionate for your behaviors and your habits. There's something about just noticing how you're playing life, this game of life, how you're showing up on this game of life. And rather than using it to beat yourself stupid with, just noticing and being curious about, or being in a sense of wonder about where it's coming from. So I hope this has been helpful. I don't know what you've heard in it, but I certainly have immediately made very effortless changes and gone from hesitating and delay to momentum and gentle action, just in seeing this one insight that insecurity breeds hesitation and delay. Just go for it. Whatever it is, just go for it. So I'll be back to you soon with another grace note. Ciao.